Today we're going to explore how it is we can create change in an instant. Perhaps there's a food that you really like that it might be easier to achieve the body of your dreams if you liked it a little less, or perhaps not at all. How much easier would it be to stay on track if you could want the foods that are working for you rather than craving those foods that may have held you back in the past? Aristotle once said that all change is sweet, whereas Frederick Douglass said that there's no progress if there's no struggle. Well, how would it be if it didn't have to be a struggle? If you could create change that is easy and effortless right now. It's been said that it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. Well, how would it be if you no longer had to rely on willpower? If you could create that change right now and screw the 21 days? And how would it be if you could keep taking action, even in times of stress, to keep moving towards your body, your health, the fitness goals that you dreamed of? Because when you can change a food that you've always loved, you can change anything. I had this friend, he was a coach, and he loved those iced Burberry biscuits. You know, the ones like those shortbready type biscuits with the pink marshmallow and the jam and the cookie. He loved them. And when he put up his hand, I could see how much it was he really wanted to change. That if he could change this, he could change anything. He was an electrician and he spent a lot of time on the road, and he said it was out of control. He'd drive out of his way to find these biscuits and he'd devour them in one go. So you could see how much it would mean for him to create this change. So when he changed the biscuits from something he obviously loved to something he really disliked, it opened up a door of possibilities. Finally, he could find the way in which he could really be taking the action on a consistent basis to achieve the health, to be a role model for his clients, his family, and importantly, his children. And when I saw the change that he'd create, I thought, if he could do it, why can't I? When it comes to changing submodalities, it's like we're letting go of the need to hold on to willpower. And it's been found from research that there's only 10% of us that can actually create change through willpower. So by changing the submodalities, it's like we're changing the building blocks of our experience. Submodalities are how it is that we remember the events, the experiences, the people, the places we've been from our past, and the meaning that we place on those events. We have 5 senses: visual, auditory, gustatory, kinesthetic, and olfactory. And the way in which we remember our experiences from the past are through these 5 senses. In NLP, we refer to these as modalities. And it's the submodalities within each of these that when we change, we can change the meaning that we place on these past events and experiences. So submodalities are the way in which we make up those modalities. For example, remember pictures in colour or in black and white, or sounds may be close or far away, or feelings may be big or small. And it's the way in which we remember and the meanings that we give these submodalities that assists us to identify what it is from our past that's important or not. For example, we're much more likely to remember a picture that is bright and bold as opposed to one that is small and dull. NLP's been around long before the name was given to it. In fact, way back in ancient times, the Greeks were talking about senses and experiences. Aristotle talked about submodalities in every way other than calling them submodalities. So this is not something that is new. It's something that's been around for a very long time. Today, we're able to use submodalities with volition to create the changes that we want, to start creating a reality that is really what's going to assist us to achieve our goals, to change the way we think, the coding, the meaning we give things, to change our experience today. And this is what's going to enable you. And because you are making the changes in the way that you're thinking, you're also changing your reality, changing your personal world. And that's opening up the doors of possibilities, creating the way in which you can see how you're going to take the action to achieve your goals now and for your compelling future. So why don't we have a play with submodalities right now? So the way in which I would choose a demonstration subject for submodalities is I'd be looking for someone who really wants change. They're overly enthusiastic. There's someone with a hand all the way up. I'd be looking for that person, and I'd be able to see that for this person to change this would mean so much more. Someone whose problem is bigger, it's deeper than the food itself. Someone who's really ready. So what I would do is I would ask the room, is there anyone here who has a food that they like that perhaps it would be better if they liked it a little less or didn't even like it at all? And I'd ask everyone to raise their hands, and then I'd go around the room and I'd quickly get responses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once I've got a range of 3 to 7 different types of food, I'd then point to one person and I'd ask them what it would mean for them to create this change right now. I want to see what it would mean for them, for their life, and I want to get some emotion around it to ensure that this change was going to be of significant impact for this person and that they were really ready to take it. Once I got that, I'd get them up. I'd be fast and I'd use command tonality. And I'd go through the key steps to elicit a submodality and then to create the change. So the first step that we'll go through with a submodality like to dislike shift is that we would identify firstly the submodalities of the food that they do like. Then we'd break state. Secondly, we'd go through the submodalities of food that they disliked. So a food that perhaps compared to the food that they really liked, yet they didn't like it as much. So for example, from ice cream to yogurt. So I'd then elicit those submodalities. And then I'd do a contrastive analysis. So compare the two to identify the drivers, the difference. More often than not, location will be different. Once we've identified the drivers, then we change the liked food into the disliked drivers. And we do the switch in the modalities, so that the food that they once liked is now thought of in the same way that the food that they disliked. And then we lock it into place. You know that sound that Tupperware makes? That's what we do last. Then we test to ensure that they no longer felt the same way about the food that they once liked, and then future pace to a time in the future when they may be tempted by that food. So let's have a play with that script right now. So tell me, are you prepared to make a change at the unconscious level and have complete conscious awareness of it? Fantastic. So firstly, is there a food that you like that perhaps would be better if you liked it a little less or not at all? What is that food? And as you think of that food right now, can you see a picture? If you were to point to that picture, where would it be? Excellent. Is it black and white or colour? Is it bright or dim? Is it large or small? Framed or unframed? Moving or still? Is it associated? Are you in the picture? Or is it disassociated? Are you looking at yourself in the picture? Is it fuzzy or is it clear? Excellent. Can you smell popcorn? Clear the screen. Are there any sound? Oh, don't clear the screen. Are there any sounds that are important? Are those sounds loud or soft? Near or far? If you were to point to it, where would you point to it? Is it fast or slow? Excellent. Are there any feelings that are relevant? Are they big or small? Rough or smooth? Where would the location be? Excellent. Now we'll clear the screen. Fantastic. Now tell me, is there a food that perhaps you don't like as much? A food that's similar in texture or colour? What would that food be? And as you think of that food right now, can you see the picture? And if you were pointing to that picture, where would it be? Excellent. And is it black and white or colour? Is it large or small? Is it moving or still? Associated or dissociated? Framed or unframed? Clear or fuzzy? Black and white or colour? Excellent. Are there any sounds that are important? Are they loud or soft? Fast or slow? Near or far? If you were to point to the sounds, where are they coming from? And what about feelings? Are there any feelings that are important? Are they large or small? Rough or smooth? Is it near or far? If you were to point to whereabouts are those feelings? Let's clear the screen. So now let's have a look, let's compare the two. So what I want you to do right now is that I want you to bring up that picture of the food that you once liked. Can you see that picture right now? So what I want you to do is I want you to move it from here to here. I want you to change it from colour to black and white. Put a frame around it. Make it fuzzy. Yeah, it's fuzzy. Can you see that picture? You know that sound that Tupperware makes when it locks into place? Yeah, I want you to make that sound right now. Lock it into place. That's it. Clear the screen. Now as you think about that food, chips that you once liked, how do you feel about that food right now? What way is it different? Excellent. So now I'd like you to go out to a time in the future. And what happens as you're tempted by that food? What I want you to notice as you go out to that time in the future, when that usual temptation, when you're out there driving along and you see the big M, I want you to notice how good it feels inside, how good it feels knowing that you're able to make the choices that you know that you wanted to be making for so long. And because you've made those choices, I want you to notice what it means for you. And not just for you, for those around you. How you taking action, you doing the do, you being the change, makes it so much easier for others to follow your lead. And to notice how much it means to you to be eating the foods that are working for you, that make you feel good, not just on the inside, but the outside. And how this really is the difference that is making the difference for you. So there you have it. That's the submodalities like to dislike. Bye for now.